Good evening, everybody. This is Matthew. Today I've got two basses that I just got in from Sawtooth Musical Instruments. They're out of California. Sawtooth, as you know, is part of Chromacast. They do drums, they do cables, picks. I mean, if you can imagine it, Chromacast does it. Then they branched into guitars. We have the Sawtooth guitars. We've got the M24, which is shredder guitar. That's a series by Michelangelo Badio. They've got LP Heritage, which are awesome guitars. They've got Tellys. They've got Strats. They've just got a lot of great stuff. And I've had the opportunity during really their Black Friday sale to pick up a lot of their stuff just to try it out. Nothing's been sent to me. The only thing I've discussed with them is just regular customer service stuff. You know, if I had a question about a shipment or something like that. But everything that I'm going to be reviewing here in the next couple months, whether it be Sawtooth, Firefly, IYV, anything, I purchase all on my own. So these are all just my opinions. As we go forward in this series, what I'd like to do is take these instruments that are budget-friendly instruments. I mean, a lot of people are like me. They're like you. They're older people, maybe got into this later in life. I was actually classically trained in brass instruments. I went to Ball State University, degree in music performance, and mine is in different key to concert tubas and euphoniums and contrabasses and things like that. So getting into stringed instruments, I didn't get into that until probably my mid-30s. I'm a busy guy. I work full-time. I've got 4 kids. I travel extensively. So I'm more of a hobby guy. I mean, I bar chord like absolute crap. I can't solo. So for me, this is just a way to express myself, to relieve stress. And believe it or not, I just enjoy guitars. I've got probably a case of gas like you wouldn't believe. I mean, I'm on the first name basis with the UPS and the FedEx. My wife just wants to kill me half the time. But you know, it's getting into guitars, regardless of your age or your how good you are with them, is just a great thing. I mean, all of my kids play, so it doesn't matter how well you play or how bad you play. It's about just getting out there and making music, whether it's with yourself, with your family, or at least, you know, bringing it to somebody who just needs a change. I mean, there's a lot of times where I've bought guitars and given them, especially to younger kids that maybe parents were having trouble with them because they couldn't focus, or maybe they were getting a bit out of control. And so getting them an instrument gives them something to focus on. Even if they just pick it up and they just, you know, go to a drop D and they just go nuts for a couple minutes and it sounds like absolute squalor. If taking it out that way versus taking it out in an unhealthy way helps them, I mean, to me, just getting instruments into kids' hands or anybody's hands is a big thing. And at the price point that the stuff that I'm going to be reviewing and then taking out and showing to other people is at a price point that anybody really can get into. Even when I got into playing, 15, 20 years ago, if you wanted a budget instrument, it was junk. Or if you wanted something that was better, the price was through the roof. Now with CNCing, the Asian market, Vietnam, Korea, China, wherever, you can really get some amazing instruments to start out with. You can mod them, you can do whatever. So that's what the focus of this series is about. But today I got in the two basses that I wanted. I do enjoy playing bass. I don't slap bass. I mean, I'll slap on it, but it doesn't, I mean, I'm not a virtuoso. I'm a House of the Rising Sun, playing behind a little bit of Aerosmith, simple bass lines. I mean, to me, I guess it's reminiscent of maybe playing that low end in an orchestra or a symphony. I like that. You're part of the rhythm, but you're just that foundation of the music. The first one I've got here is my Sawtooth P bass. This is they call it satin black. I call it matte black. My M24, which is their, what I would consider their shredder guitar that's done by Michelangelo Badio, also in this matte black. I really like this, especially if you're going to let kids learn or practice with it. You're not going to fingerprint it up. I mean, and I'll be honest, there's a lot of times where I'm sitting on the couch and I'm eating a hand of Chex Mix or drinking a Mountain Dew, and then I get in the mood and I'll grab a guitar and then I fingerprint it up. This, I don't really worry about it. It's got a sycamore body. It's got a maple neck. All the hardware is black. The black pick guard. The nice thing that I like about Sawtooth is that a lot of times when you get guitars shipped to you, you're not buying them at a store, you know exactly what I mean, that they're going to need some kind of setup. Sometimes at a lower price point, it's going to need a lot of setup. We all know the frustration about it. Sawtooth, one of the things that they noticed back when they started is that stuff was going out and it wasn't set up right, and how frustrating that was for the musician. So now it doesn't matter if you buy a $1,000 bass from them or a $1,200 guitar or whatever, or a $199 bass or a $129 telly that's on sale. It doesn't matter. Before they are shipped out, they're looked over and their guitar techs set them all up. I mean, there's literally no issue. Granted, it might be something where you do want it just a smidge lower. But for the average player, everything is set up. I mean, there's absolutely no sprout. I mean, there's no sharp edges. The necks are great. The strings are great. I mean, I'll play something with strings for quite some time. One, just because I'm a cheap son of a gun. But, you just can't beat it. I'm not going to give you a big sound demo. I mean, we all know what a P bass sounds like. Everybody knows what a P bass sounds like. And you really don't need to see me noodling around. This is more just why I buy what I buy. But I really do like this. I really like this. My kids like it. And that's why I ended up buying another one. It is passive pickups, just like a standard P bass. The next one I got, because while I'm really not a flashy person, the way I dress, I mean, look, I've got my shirt that says, this is my kayaking shirt. My wife doesn't trust that I wear the appropriate clothes all the time. So I have one, this is my kayaking shirt. I have one that says, this is when I go to the buffet shirt. I mean, I'm just not responsible enough. But this is another one of the P basses. Absolutely love this seafoam color. I've really been getting into these seafoams. I've actually got a telly style that Sawtooth does in this exact same seafoam, but with a tortoise shell pick guard, and it looks amazing. But this has got the rosewood fretboard, where this has got full maple neck. Nice satin finish. A lot of, the P basses, whether it be Fender, Squier, whatever, usually have really big, thick, chunky necks. These really don't. These remind me almost more of a jazz bass at some point. Actually, more so this one than this one. But once again, the frets, absolutely perfect. I mean, they're actually almost like they're recessed in. I mean, it's just really nice. You got the 4-bolt pattern on the back, volume and tone. Fretwork is just nice all the way up. Setup's nice. Hardware's nice. It's a good platform if you wanted to mod it. Me, myself, I don't mod. I mean, I'm not a guy that goes out and plays. I don't play in a church. I don't play in a synagogue. I don't play, I don't go out and play. It's just, one, I just don't have the time. I'm more of a guy that sits around with the family. I'll scroll around on YouTube or Spotify, find some tab, and it just takes me away, Once again, it's just one of those things that the reason that I do have high-end stuff, but I find that I'm always drawn to the budget-friendly stuff. I think that that's, regardless of what we want to say to ourselves, we're all wanting to save a buck. But with the Sawtooth, you can save a buck and you're not giving up anything. The other nice thing I like about Sawtooth, and like I said, I'm not sponsored by them. I'm just a guy. This is my first video I'll be putting up on YouTube. Is I contacted them after their Black Friday sale. They had a huge sale. Like everything was like 50% off, and then stuff was already on sale. So it went crazy. Like at the time of the Black Friday sales, these are normally $200. They had them down to like $179. Then you did the 50% off. I got these bases for under $100. But they had such a big sale that stuff was a little slow coming out. And all of a sudden I get this email from GoDPS Music, which that's the website that you go to for these, is godpsmusic.com. And it said, hey, because of our sale, things are a little slow, but our guitar techs are setting everything up. We'll keep you posted. By the way, this is Kevin, one of the owners. If you have any questions, feel free to, get back with me. I am a curious guy. I've been in the corporate world for a lot of years, and I was really wondering, is this just kind of a canned message? So I literally texted back, or messaged back, emailed back, and I said, hey, this is Matthew. I understand you had a great sale. Thanks for the products you offer. If you go to their website, they've got all kinds of videos with Michelangelo Badio. They've got all kinds of videos with Rudy and a lot of older top artists. And it's just kind of really neat. And they interview. It's kind of a nice thing to watch. And I said, just thanks. I really enjoyed it, And within a couple minutes, Kevin, one of the owners, gets back with me. Hey, Matt, yeah. Let me know if you have any questions, this and that. So I had bought quite a few things. And I said, hey, my wife doesn't really get into playing music. But my wife was, the big hairspray and, into Quiet Riot and shred stuff, when she was younger. And I said, if you get a chance and Michelangelo Badio's around, could you get me a signed copy? Because I knew he was signing some guitars. Just a picture, personal. I said, I'll pay for it, whatever. He said, no problem. The next thing I know, right before the holidays, an envelope shows up, and it's 2 great big pictures of Michelangelo Badio with his double guitars and it's a nice personalized message to my wife. I really appreciate the customer service and the one-on-one that you have with Kevin, and it just, I don't know, it makes the whole experience when you're buying something that much more meaningful. So once again, I'm not going to do any sound clips with this. At some point, I get some time, I'll have my son. He's much more proficient than I am. He's not better looking, but who is? But that's just really what I wanted to say. I do, like I said, I started out with these basses. I've got the M24 coming up. I've got one of their tellies, which is kind of a neat story with it. I've got their Black Heritage Les Paul style with gold hardware, amazing guitar. I've got one of their Strats, and I've also got their big jumbo mahogany acoustic electric that is, that thing puts out some sound. I've even done everything from, buying straps. I think that's the other thing I like about Sawtooth. I can buy leather straps. Whether it be tuners. It's kind of like a one-stop shop for me. I buy other things too from other places, but I like this. Actually today, when this came in, there was something that was supposed to come with it that came a day earlier. And Kevin, the owner, just reached out to me and said, hey, noticed this came before this. This is still on its way. Let me know when you get it. He didn't have to do that. But it's nice, the one-on-one service that you do get. The other thing I will tell you before I go is that when you do order something from Sawtooth, I don't know how many boxes they do it on. I don't know if it's 1 out of 10, if it's 1 out of 20, I don't know. But when you get a guitar from Sawtooth, look at your boxes. It's not just all shipping labels. You might come up with a label on there that's got a thing to scan. And at some points, or at some times, they've got great discount coupons for your next order. It might be 20%, it might be 30%. I've seen one at 50%. So, if you really think about it, you go out and you buy yourself a guitar, you go back, you get that discount. Later on, you see something else you want, and it's not off of one item, it's off an entire order. Whether it be picks, whether it be, I've got a bunch of their guitar stands. They work really, really well. I've got a 9-rack, I've got 2 of those. I've got the A-frames. Like I said, I've really taken to the Sawtooth. That's not taken away from any of the others, because there's a lot of others I will review that I absolutely love too. But just for me as a consumer, as somebody who likes to save money, and somebody who likes the old school way of what I call real customer service. I'm not talking to somebody over here or waiting 3 or 4 days for somebody to send me an email. I'm getting real-time feedback from one of the owners. It's a great time. I encourage you to take the time, look at Go DPS Music, check out all the line of Sawtooth musical instruments, see what they have, and let me know what you think. Thank you.